sure.
And I mean, 500 and some change horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque through a 5AT was unheard of before, you know, companies like Level 10 started building them. So it's just, it's a great setup.
Yeah, this thing should definitely surprise a lot of people. He's been coming to us for a really long time. So, I mean, we did some things, upgraded some maintenance. It's sat for a couple years. So, glad to see it back.
Feel that kick in the transmission.
Yes.
You know it's got some work done to it.
Exactly. So it's a nice crisp afternoon here in North Carolina. So we're waiting for snow here tomorrow. So it should lay it down very well.
Mexico.
Yeah, brand new tires, brand new brakes. So we basically brought it back to life. So we'll see what it does.
The old sport mode?
Yep. Hey, what's going on, guys? Nick from Soho Motorsports, and today we're going to be discussing Robert's 2008 Infiniti G37 with our Soho V1 air-to-air kit, our new cog setup, pump gas, and a fuel return system. So Robert's been coming to us for a little bit of time here. The last time he came to us was in 2018, where he went from NA to Boost and basically went with the Soho V1 air-to-air system. Back then he was on the old serpentine belt setup. He ran pump gas. He also ran some water methanol. Car sat for a little bit. He wanted to bring it back to life, so he brought it to us to do all the maintenance for all of the fluids, as far as oil change, transmission fluid, differential fluid, and bring the vehicle back up to speed. And so a few of the things that we did when the car was here, as you can see here, we went from the rear serpentine belt to the rear cog belt setup, and obviously allowed us to make a little bit more power. As I've said in previous conversations, the cog setup will increase about 1 to 2 PSI over the rear serpentine belt. There is no slip, and so this car is going to be fun. Also, it has the fuel return system on it from the last go around, and so there wasn't much that we had to do to basically put it back on the roller to see what kind of power it made on pump gas. So this vehicle on pump gas laid down 554 and 405 foot-pounds of torque at a little over 12 PSI. Do keep in mind, this is an 08 G37 with a 5AT. The 5AT, obviously the AT stands for automatic transmission, is a built automatic transmission from Level 10. So it can handle the power. If it was a stock automatic transmission, I'm gonna say it probably wouldn't have lasted a couple rounds on the dyno. So just because the 5AT doesn't allow it to hold enough power, guys will either build the transmission, they'll go the VR swap, or they'll go with the VHR setup. So it just depends on what they're wanting to do and what they're wanting to make as far as power. Robert just wants to get this thing back up and running. He is up in Connecticut, so obviously during the winter times the car sits in storage. He wants to enjoy it during the summertime. So this vehicle is a fun little vehicle. As you can see, Soho catch can, the V1 air-to-air system, which is our old style. Now we do have our V2 air-to-air system that does utilize the stock manifold. This one utilizes the Stirling manifold. They both work great. They both do what they need to do. So it just depends on what you're wanting the engine bay to look like. This engine bay does still look great. He's got the Stirling cover covering over the open spot that's there with the Stirling manifold. So this is a fun little build. We'll go for a ride with Justin, see what he thinks, and we'll get back to it. All right, so we are in Robert's 2008 G37 5-speed VHR, or actually HR motor, not the VHR. So
this is VHR?
Oh, that's right, yeah, VHR. So VHR motor, it has the 5-speed compared to it. So a lot of people are not too familiar with building these things, which you can, and it can hold the power when it's built. So level 10 transmission, V1 air-to-air. So this one, it's a fun little car.
It's old school speed car. I mean, it's got the quirks of a 5AT, but it's one of those things to where if you're going to do a 5AT, you do it once and you do it right, like this one.
Correct.
There's a lot of options about doing 7ATs and whatnot, but Level 10 does really, really good with the 5ATs. But I mean, this one, you know, it's the V1 kit. It's got these sick, like old school Pro Sport gauges. So you just, it's a period correct setup that we basically updated a couple of components, and I mean, it looks really good, it runs really good, makes a lot of power on 93.
For sure.
And I mean, 500 and some change horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque to a 5AT was unheard of before, you know, companies like Level 10 started building them. So it's a great setup.
Yeah, this thing should have definitely surprised a lot of people. He's been coming to us for a really long time. So, I mean, we did some things, upgraded some maintenance. It sat for a couple years. So, glad to see it back.
Feel that kick in the transmission. You know it's got some work done to it.
Exactly. So it's a nice crisp afternoon here in North Carolina. So we're waiting for snow here tomorrow. So it should lay it down very well.
Mexico.
Yeah, brand new tires, brand new brakes. So we basically brought it back to life. So we'll see what it does.
The old sport mode?
Yep.
Boy, you could tell them tires were cold because they lit tires up.
Want to dance to the next lane. This thing feels great.
It does feel good.
Also has a new cog setup too on this one too. That's another thing that we upgraded too. So
yep, it's got that nice linear curve. I mean, I tell you guys and girls, whoever's watching, like the line on the graph, you could put a ruler on the graph and just draw it with a pencil. I mean, it's such a straight. It's crazy how straight and crispy the line is when you do these setups. And there's no deviation. There's no like dips or high spots or any of that stuff to where things are deflecting and like catching up. It's none of that, man. It's a straight line all the way up to where you hit the peak power. Right. So.
Yeah, and also we did BC coilovers on this too, so that's why it rides great.
Yeah.
So he had stock suspension on this thing, so we probably wanted to dance all over the place. So
it does still a little bit because he's fitting 20-inch wheels and some chunky meat onto the back end of it, so had to tighten it up just a little bit in the back. But I mean, as a setup, man, it does really, really well.
Yeah, this is a fun little car. So 554 wheel and 400 foot-pounds of torque is what it put down. So very respectable numbers on pump 93.
Yeah, that's what you get from any modern VHR with a 7AT. That's pretty much what you can expect out of that. But doing it out of a 5AT, that's right. It's good.
Yeah, it's just crazy the amount of interest people have gotten into it. Oh, 5AT, you can do that. Well, you can. Here we are. So
it's one of those things that you kind of decide the path. It's like, you know, hey, do I want to go supercharger or turbo? It's like, okay, you got a 5AT. Do you want to build a 5AT? You want to go 7AT? I mean, both will get you where you want to go. It just depends on what route you want to take. And like I said, if you're going to do 5AT, this is the right way to do it.
Yep, 100%. So yeah, this is definitely a fun little car, Robert. We'll definitely enjoy this little vehicle in Connecticut, so where it's nice and cool right now. They're in winter, so once spring comes around, all the snow melts, we'll be able to really, really enjoy the car.
We got a couple guys here bringing cars down for the winter time for builds, which we're pretty excited about. We know how the guys up north do it. I don't know if y'all know this. I did a stint up in Wisconsin for a while, and I know all the guys up in the Northeast and the Midwest, wherever it snows, they like to put their cars up for winter and you know, or send them to get built during winter time, so that way once the snow melts, they can really enjoy it. And this was no different really to get this all knocked out and get it done. So, but yeah, we appreciate all you guys up north, down south, wherever you are, sending us your cars and, you know, buying kits and stuff from us, man. Y'all are awesome. We appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the support. So if you guys could hit the subscribe button below and catch you on the next one.